Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of M-Class Podcast. I'm Jeff.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Hi,
I'm here.
welcome.
No Kevin. Bye, Kevin.
Yeah, we had to put Kevin down because he got too powerful.
He bit a little girl. And they had to test him for rabies.
R.I.P. little girl.
They have to take your brain out to look at the rabies.
You know, ironically, since you brought up taking somebody's brain out...
What a segue, huh?
We actually watched a whole show about taking somebody's brain out this time.
I wouldn't say I really watched it, Jeff.
Off to a great start.
No, I watched it, but... Woo!
Yeah. This month?
Sure.
We watched Star Trek The Original Series episode, Spock's Brain.
Season 3, episode 1.
Yeah, this is the first part of our bad episodes collection.
Or is it 6? It says it's 6 here.
I don't know I only know the names. Like, we're a team. You know the numbers, and I know the names.
I think weirdly on Netflix, I think it was the first one. That's
it's
weird.
6. Yeah, it's episode 6.
But it says it's 6. That's super weird. Okay.
It's also weird because it's listed as the season premiere, even though it's 6.
Yeah, that's why I think it's on Netflix. It's the first one. I don't know.
Wah, wah.
I don't know. It's really bad.
It's not a good episode. This is part of our worst episodes collection.
Yay! I love watching terrible things.
You can find the pinned tweet on our Twitter at MClass Podcast that has the viewing order of these episodes. We're not changing any of them. Go fuck yourself.
Oh yeah! Fuck you.
As soon as I put them up, I got this landslide of people being like, "Well, that's not the worst episode."
Of course you did.
This is the worst episode. We didn't say it was the worst episodes as voted by committee.
Yeah,
it's just the ones we find the worst.
We're gonna do these ones.
Fucking deal with it, everybody. I got some information about the writer of this episode, Gene L. Kuhn.
Great name.
Gene, as I'll call him, since I don't like saying his last name.
Yeah, we'll call him Mr. Gene.
I don't like saying that word with my accent. Mr. Gene was he was actually almost as big of an influence on the way Star Trek developed as Gene Roddenberry, since he wrote like massive swaths of episodes. Like,
you have to be named Gene to be good at Star Trek.
Maybe so. Like, he wrote a lot of shit. He produced a lot of shit for Star Trek: The Original Series.
Yeah.
He actually had an Emmy nomination as well.
Well, who hasn't, Jeff?
Me.
Well, you're gonna get one for this show.
Yeah. I'm getting robbed for M-Class Podcast, I'll tell you that much. But he was like such a huge influence that like Gene Roddenberry was actually fairly jealous of him and didn't like him.
That doesn't sound like Gene Roddenberry.
That is my John Larroquette fun fact of the week.
Oh, how interesting.
Gene L., last name held upon request, was so influential that everyone who worked on the show was constantly pushing for him to get more recognition in the creation of Star Trek.
Oh, that's cool.
And Gene Roddenberry was constantly suppressing it.
Well, it's a good thing that Gene Roddenberry did that, because we all know that Star Trek, the original series, went on to be on the air for 100 years.
He actually introduced the Klingons. Gino, last name, introduced the Klingons.
Yeah.
He introduced the galactic governing body, the United Federation of Planets, in the episode
he invented
Arena.
all the good stuff.
Starfleet Command as the operational authority, and court-martial, the prime directive as first articulated in the Return of the Archons.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he introduced Zephram Cochrane.
Yeah, dude, he fucking Gene.
Also, Khan, and the concept of augments.
Oh my god, he did everything.
To the point that during a big commemoration thing where they were going to call a building on the lot the Gene Roddenberry building or whatever, William Shatner was invited to give a speech. Gene Roddenberry hadn't died yet. He was in attendance. And he died like a few weeks later, probably of a broken heart because
this is what killed him.
William Shatner continually dropped the other Gene's name in his speech and talked about how much that guy had contributed to Star Trek as well.
That's incredible.
So, pissing people off for decades, William Shatner's been doing.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it. He's in that show now where he's an old guy.
You mean his actual life?
And he goes to places with his friends.
Is that a show?
It's on regular television.
I don't know anything about regular television.
Yeah, it's terrible. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it's like The Amazing Race, but...
I think he talked about filming that, like back when he told his elephant story that I've told like a million times on the podcast.
Really?
I think he was talking about filming that when he was telling the story.
Maybe.
Weird. I was too entranced with the elephant shit to pay any attention to whatever else he was talking about.
Elephants are really, really smart.
They are. He's right. They also vibrate when you love them.
I don't know about that,
but that was your John Larroquette fun fact of the week.
Gene L. Mr. Guy.
It's not bad to say someone's last name. It's just weird. I don't want to know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I agree. I don't like to say it because then people can take this and like change it and like make us say shit.
True. Interestingly enough, that Gene went by the pen name Lee Cronin quite often as well.
That's a way better name.
Yeah. It's probably unrelated to the fact that his last name is so offensive.
Probably unrelated. Probably.
At least it's offensive in my accent. Josh can probably say it fine, but I can't.
I had to change my last name because it was Josh L. Hitler.
Oh my god! We need some of this dramatic-ass music from the Spock's Brain episode.
Oh my god. This episode has so much bullshitty, dramatic, like...
So many, like, zoom cuts on Spock's face. Dun, dun, dun!
Yeah, it's like over... Dude, it's like over the fucking top. Like, this feels like... This episode feels like what everybody thinks that Star Trek TOS is.
Yeah, it's every terrible stereotype. Like, the hammy overacting, the fucking, like, chewing the scenery.
Dude, there's a part... I'm gonna forget about it if I don't talk it right now.
I'll go
but there's a part when they go down into, like, the cave or whatever with the women, and they have that pass-out beam, or whatever the hell it is. And they use it on the crew, and Bones and Kirk fall over, passed out, and then it cuts, and William Shatner moves a little bit, and then like the camera moves off of him, like he's supposed to be unconscious, but they cut it like right where the film is, like him still moving, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like a fucking B movie, dude.
They also like clap heads together by accident and like move apart afterwards.
Yeah, he like Bones falls on Kirk's head, and you can see like it's like real awkward and stuff.
Oh my god,
it's so goofy.
There's actually a part, it's early on too, so I'll go ahead and fucking say it, where Bones is explaining that Spock's brain has been stolen.
Yeah.
That entire scene is like DeForest Kelley is being held at gunpoint and told to act it.
Yeah.
Like, he is terrible in that scene.
He's phoning it the fuck in.
He's just like, saying the lines.
Yeah. Yeah. Because these lines are super awful. Like,
it's his brain.
Oh, God.
They took his brain.
They took his brain. It's like, right,
I'm following.
Yeah.
I called this episode The Great Brain Robbery.
Oh, that's really good. I like that. I'm not even kidding. That is funny.
I'm a smart boy.
That's really good. Nice work.
Send that money to @MClassPodcast.
Oh, remind me, this is an off the podcast conversation, but I found those things I'm going to send you.
Oh, shit.
They're just sitting on my kitchen counter.
I'll try to remember. I'm not gonna remember that.
I'll remember
You'll text me when you're editing the episode.
They're Star Trek related, so it kind of counts.
Everything counts in this podcast. It's fine.
Yeah.
6 degrees of separation from fucking Spock. It all works
Spock's
out.
brain.
At the beginning of this episode, the crew of the USS Enterprise, dude, actually, I want to get off on a tangent before we even start.
Fuck it.
I watched this on Netflix, which is a mistake.
Yeah.
Because they have the updated CG graphics.
Yeah, which are cool.
I hate those.
Do you hate them?
I hate them. It clashes so terribly with the rest of the show.
I never watched the show really when it was like I watched it when it was on syndication.
Like,
so I remember the old like goofy
you
models.
you like a goofy, corny sort of B movie thing, right? Like old B movies. You enjoy that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
There's
I
like a
that
charm
stuff.
to that shit that's like completely lost when you have like the more modern special effects, but like there's nothing like fun or cheesy about bad modern special effects. It's just off-putting.
Well, because they try to make it look old, but it's not, so it doesn't work right.
So it just looks like fucking Tales from Genesis space, but in Star Trek. I don't want that.
There's one shot where they cut to like the outside of the hull, like real close up of the ship, and they like do like a 2009-ish like a Dutch angle. Like
it's like a sweep by thing, and that's completely out of place in the show.
And it's like, don't do that.
Also, the ship is like fucking baby's bottom smooth. There's like
my god.
There's no anything on it. It's just like a tube.
They got real good deflectors. Nothing's touching that motherfucker, dude. It's like brand goddamn new.
God, it's so off-putting to me. I know people like it. Like, I hear a lot of people are all in favor of it, because there are a lot of people who don't like the old cheesy special effects and stuff in Star Trek, and it's off-putting to them. I don't agree with that myself. I think that's dumb, and you're dumb if you feel that way, but... I'm sorry that I don't care that you're hurt from that, but...
The hull that was my pride is no longer smooth.
It bugs me because I love the old terrible special effects so much.
Yeah.
And also, they didn't update any of the special effects out like inside the ship.
Right. So. It's jarring when it goes back inside. You're like, oh, it's still this way.
They did do like little things, like in the episode Arena, the Gorn blinks.
Oh, they made him blink?
Yeah, they made the Gorn blink.
Oh, weird.
And I was like, why? Why did they do that?
They were like, let's make him blink. And they're like, all right.
Someone was watching Star Trek from the time they were like a tiny child to the time they were an adult. And that whole time they were like, that fucking Gorn's not blinking. I can't believe this shit.
When I grow up and there's computers, I'm gonna fix this.
Fuck, I can't believe they forgot to make him blink. Are they even fucking like watching this when they finish it? He's not even blinking. Like, just mad the whole time for fucking 40 years.
The internet. Yep.
Like, as soon as the internet was invented, they were, like, in the IRC channel for fucking Star Trek.
Do I have an opinion for you?
What did you guys think about that Gorn not blinking?
Ridiculous.
And just on the IRC channel, they were like, you know what? He's right. That Gorn didn't blink.
Gorn have to blink. They're lizards.
Everything blinks, god damn it.
Everything fucking blinks!
Anyway, the crew of the USS Enterprise is flying through space, and a terrible CGI object is flying towards them.
Oh, this is my favorite thing because it's stupid as hell.
And everybody on board is just like, hey, hail that shit, right?
They're creaming their pants over this thing.
Yeah, especially, like, Scotty. He's just, like, got one hand in his trousers just yanking it the whole time. So
this ship is just, like, the dumbest looking whatever the fuck model ship that someone made one day. And, they're in the Enterprise. It doesn't look any
better in the CG version, by the way.
Yeah, no, it looks dumb as shit. Like, it's dumb. So, they're in the Enterprise, which is, like, the most iconic fake spaceship ever made.
It's beautiful.
Right?
It's got such a cool design.
It's beautiful. It's so great. And but they're like, oh, look at this beauty. And then like they're like, it has an ion drive. It's like, that's what you guys use.
I guess that hadn't been established yet.
or like that's like we have that now. Like we made a ship like that has that, and we sent it up into space, and it did that.
Did they have that in
NASA.
the 60s?
No, we did it like recently.
Well, yeah.
Like
they didn't know
like,
that then. Although they did give us a shout out in this episode. They have M-Class on all the images of the planets.
Thank God they finally recognized us.
Shout out to my Trek boys.
Trek boys. But they're like, it's so advanced, and it's like not at all advanced at all.
It looks like the fucking like lunar probe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they're all creaming their jisms about it or whatever. And they can't hail it, and they already got all their guns trained on it because it's the TOS era, and that's what they do.
Right. They're just gonna shoot.
And they're like, all right, somebody's beaming aboard, and Kirk's just like, all right, let's see who it is. And I was like, put your shields up, dum-dum, what are you doing?
Yeah, they don't do any of, like, the Starfleet. They're just like, whatever, we're out here,
Let's
fuck
see
it.
who it is.
Yeah, hello,
And
come in.
A girl in, like, a sling bikini comes in and, like, a mini skirt.
Yeah.
And she presses a button on her plastic wristband, and everyone on the ship passes out violently.
Yeah, it's real bad. It's a real bad time. But then they wake up.
Josh was there, he remembers. It was a real bad time.
It was bad. It was a real bad time. They had a real bad hangover.
And everybody wakes up, and they're just, like... Everybody's like, where's Spock? That's the first thing that Kirk says because he fucking loves him. He's like, where's Spock?
Like, hope he's okay. Hope he's thinking about me.
Do you think he likes me?
Does he think he likes me?
And Bones calls him down to sickbay, and it turns out that Spock's brain has been stolen.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my god!
What the fuck? How? It's impossible!
What are we gonna do, gang? And that's what Bones sounds like during the whole scene.
Dude, it's so ham bone, it's out of control.
Oh yeah, ham bone, I get it. I get
super
it.
ham bone, dude.
And Kirk's like, we're gonna find that brain and we're gonna put it back. And Bones is like, well, that's stupid. I don't know how to do that.
He's like, are you gonna search the whole galaxy? It's like the worst Bones ever.
Yeah.
Bones is having a real bad day today.
Kirk's like, yeah, he's my boyfriend. I'm gonna search the whole galaxy.
We have to get him, Bones. That's what he says.
And they spend 18 fucking hours just following it.
Yeah, there's like a time limit too. I guess brains can't be put back into people's heads after a day.
There is a very arbitrary time limit.
24 hours. Weird.
Just 24 Earth hours.
It's super weird that it's 24 hours.
Exactly. They go to a system that has 3 Class M planets, and Chekhov, who I'll remind you is an ensign, gets to decide all the fucking things during the scene.
Yeah, they're like, what do you think? And he's like, I think it's the one that this one. And they're like, okay.
They're like Kirk's just thinking about it, like, you know what? You're probably right, Chekhov. You just got out of the fucking academy and we picked you up at a starbase, but I bet you know what you're talking about.
You danced real good that one time, so we're doing your plan.
I like Chekhov. I was thinking during that scene as well that I think that Wesley was an attempt to make a Chekhov, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And except they started before he was an ensign, which is stupid. Don't do that.
Wesley's super dumb.
Yeah, Wesley's annoying as fuck, and Chekhov is fun. That's the difference.
Yeah, and Chekhov had like a purpose. Like Chekhov is like, oh look, there's a Russian on the ship, which then and now is like,
yeah,
oh,
well, now it's perfectly normal. Russians are in our fucking electorate. Might as well be on our ships. But, political humor.
This will be forever evergreen.
Yeah. None of these episodes are evergreen.
I don't care.
It's like Chekhov is a fun character, and he was put on the show to get teen girls interested into it. It's why
because he looks like Davy Jones.
He looks exactly like Davy fucking Jones.
Yeah,
and it worked. By the way, it did get teenage girls into it at the time.
So there you go.
A lot of them who grew up to be like the old ladies that you see that love Star Trek a lot.
Yeah.
That's them.
Because they were getting all horned up on Chekhov.
But Chekhov decides they should go to this planet, and Kirk's like, nah, we're going to this planet. Because I got a feeling. And fucking, like, Kirk is so sure of himself, right? When he's like, let's go to this planet. And Sulu's like, a hunch? And he's like, yeah. And then Chekhov goes, what happens if you're wrong? Then Spock will die. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh my god, it's so stupid. Oh my god. It's so dumb. It's so good, though.
I was just, like, I spent a lot of time in this episode thinking about Chekhov's purpose as compared to Wesley. And it's crazy. Like, Chekhov was not put on the show to get little kids to feel like they have a chance to be in Starfleet. Wesley was.
Right.
No one who put Will fucking Wheaton on that show thought that teenage girls were gonna be more interested in it because of him.
Right.
If anything, they were gonna be more repulsed and change the channel faster.
If anything, they were gonna stab their eyeballs out. And join the nunnery.
They have a similar purpose in that they were trying to get a different demographic involved.
Yeah, well, yeah, because television is, like, horrible. So they're always like, this character is for these types of people. And it's like, okay, sure.
Who was Tom Paris for? People who were nostalgic for the 90s in the 90s?
People who like to go get coffee at Central Perk in the Friends universe.
Dude, there had to have been a meeting at some point when they were like, do you think we could get the Friends crew to do a crossover bit with Tom Paris?
He goes into the holodeck and it's like a Friends episode.
Yeah, he goes in and he sits down and like David Schwimmer's the only one who would agree, so he's there and he makes references to all the rest of them.
That's really Ready Player One-ish. That was a little Ready Player One before Ready Player One.
That's Tom Paris.
I have to go into this Friends episode and figure out how to get into the video game.
That's Tom Paris, dude. Tom Paris is Ready Player One before Ready Player One existed.
He's Parzival. Tom Parzival.
Is that the character's name?
Yeah, because it's like Percival from
I get it.
Yeah, you got it.
I ain't laughing, but I get it.
Meatwad. I know, I get it. I ain't laughing, but I get it.
So they go down to the planet, and there are cavemen on the planet who speak English.
Hey, also, Prime Directive, fuck it, right?
It didn't exist yet. Fucking Gene L. last name had not created it yet.
Yeah, well.
They go down to the planet.
They couldn't retcon some of that, computer generate some Prime Directive in this episode.
They computer generated some of the cavemen blinking more, though, so that was good.
Yeah.
But, like, they hunt them. They're like, all right, there are 5 humanoids in this direction. Let's go! Phaser set to stun!
It's real, like, I was like, wait a minute. Like, what the fuck? I was like, why are you doing this?
Even in other episodes, they try to avoid contact with the people on the planet.
Yeah, but this one, they're like, they know where Spock's brain is.
Kirk wants his boyfriend back real bad. So he's willing to break all the rules. This is the most romantic drama episode of Star Trek ever.
Yeah.
They meet. Well, first off, they shoot a caveman who apparently has a name, according to the Memory Alpha.
They're called the Morg. Is that what?
Oh, yeah.
That's like their
Morg. Okay, I thought that was his name.
Yeah, it looks like Moog or like Morn. Yeah.
My favorite Morn.
It should have just been Morn. They should have computer generated Morn into this.
And he doesn't say any lines, but they all react to him.
Dude, Kirk shoots the fucking caveman. He's just standing there with a cup, and he just looks around like, what the fuck?
It would be better if he was one of the other cavemen, so he, like, shoots the one caveman, and they all scatter, and he just, like, looks both ways and runs away.
Just runs off screen.
He's sitting at the bar that's just on the planet, and then he gets up and walks away.
I would love this episode if that was in it.
Sadly, it's not.
It's not.
So they question the caveman, and he's like, they give pleasure and pain, or they give something that's basically pleasure and pain, right?
Yeah.
This is a ham-fisted metaphor for anybody who missed it at home, because the others turn out to be women. Get it?
Yeah. They give the pain. Women will break your heart, guys.
They're good for pleasure, but they give you pain, right? That's what the fucking writer's trying to tell us. Thanks, Gmail, asshole.
It's very subtle. Guys, it's the 60s. Women. Can't live with them. Can't shoot them with a phaser.
Not yet. So, like, while they're trying to question this guy who's, like, not telling them anything and won't take them anywhere, Chekhov's just like, never mind, I found it.
Yeah, it's like a cave or some shit.
My tricorder found it. Let's go in the cave.
Yeah, and it's... They're like, this part of the fucking show, like, this to me feels like this was written on, like, a napkin over the weekend.
It's like filler.
Yeah, they were like, well, we need him... They need to go to underground, so how are they gonna do that? And it's like, well, they find a cave, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't they have just gone to the cave? Like, go beam to the under the ground, like they do.
I wanted to point out two things. One, everybody is so fucking sweaty in the future.
Yeah.
Like, is there no air conditioning in the future?
Well, on the set, it was probably like 110 degrees.
Probably. Like, they had all
lights
the, like,
were like crazy.
They have all, like, the walls are just covered in, like, Reynolds wrap and shit to make it look like the future.
Yeah, and everything's all made out of, like, fucking asbestos and wool.
Oh, so they're definitely just cooking at that point, because the lights are, like, radiating the heat onto the Reynolds wrap.
Yeah, and they're covered in makeup, because, like, that's what they did. And they still do that now.
Especially
like, just
Bones
put makeup on.
at the beginning. Like,
oh, dude,
he had a
sad
lot
eyes.
of makeup on.
Yeah, he does.
Two, they just leave the security officers when they go down. They're just like, all right, guys.
Yeah.
The three most important people on the ship, the four most important people on the ship are going to go down here into this dungeon. You guys hang out.
At least they don't die up there.
That's true. They were just thankful
they would have
for that,
died
really.
if they went down. They'd have been like, I don't think I want to go down there, Captain.
They do Star Trek's favorite trick with the phaser.
Yes. Shoot a rock.
They shoot a rock and heat it, and then hold their hands over it.
How long is that rock going to be hot for?
I don't
Like,
know.
seriously.
It turned red, dude. It's really hot.
You know what's easier? Build a fire.
What? No, it's not. You point your fucking shit at it and fire.
No, but, like, get, like, a stick and start a fire with the phaser. Don't, like, heat a rock up.
Look, Josh, there are no sticks on the Desilu set, okay? There are lots of rocks.
What the fuck is this planet's name? Fuck it, I just saw it. What is
It's the planet Desilu.
Sigma Draconis 6.
Yes.
There you go.
They fucking just, like, the elevator doors open and they see a lady and they're like, get her! And start fucking firing
They shoot her.
immediately.
Yeah, they shoot her.
That's her, get her! And, like,
That's the one!
even when the doors opened and they said that, I was like, that's not her. Doesn't look
Yeah, it's
anything like her.
The other one had brown hair. This one has, like, red hair.
It's a woman, get her!
It's got two big boobies, get it!
They, like, fucking, they're called the Morg,
It's so dumb.
which is stupid.
Like an eyeball.
But then, like, Spock's voice comes through the communicator, and he's like, sounds like he's getting, like, a BJ. He's talking about, like, how pleasurable it is and shit, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
Spock?
yeah.
What's happening? What's happening to your brain right now?
He's totally not Vulcan. He's just like, this is great.
He's
It's
getting
like,
a BJ, a brain job.
oh my god, that's so good.
If you guys never got a brain job, you should definitely try it out.
I guess every BJ is a brain job.
I get it. I get it.
You know?
But,
There's a lot going on in that joke.
we'll unpack it later. But they find the woman, like, they turn a corner and she's just, like, walking with two guys.
Yeah, sure. That's just, it's like lunchtime. They're going to the cafeteria.
It's like the second person they see is the one they're looking for. There's only, like, 5 women down here, by the way.
The writing in this episode is horrible. It's It's so bad, I can't fathom.
Just like 2 minutes earlier, Kirk was like, a woman killer, right? And they see this woman and they're like, it's the same one. And then they stand there and wait for her to press the button to incapacitate them.
To make them pass out, yes.
And they're taken prisoner.
Let's take a break, because, like...
We'll take a break. We gotta unpack that brain job joke that Josh made.
I'm gonna hit the pass out button on the podcast.
We'll be right back after these words from hopefully our sponsor. Please sponsor us.
A mysterious intruder attacks Spock.
His body lives, but there is no mind.
Now, a desperate search.
What have you done with Spock's brain?
Brain and brain! What is brain?
Before time
Freezer is set to kill.
runs out.
You must put back what you have taken.
The need of my people is greater than your need for your friend.
If you don't find it in 24 hours, Spock will die.
Star Trek.
And we're back. Hopefully you purchased that product that's definitely new.
And real.
Not 20 fucking years old.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jeff.
I don't know either. We definitely have new sponsors.
Every week. Whatever. However many we do these.
When we last left our heroes, they'd been knocked unconscious by a tiny bracelet with a button on it.
Somebody made it in props with a hot glue gun.
Oh, most definitely. It was the top off like a back massager. They just took that piece off and put it around the wrist.
Yes, a back massager.
Wink.
That's totally what that is.
Hey, it was the 60s, man.
They couldn't say pussy vibrator like they do now.
That's what they all say on the box.
One pussy vibrator, please.
Looking for a butt vibrator, please. So Kirk, Scotty, and McCoy wake up.
Yeah, Scotty's there, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's a little weird for him to be there, but...
Yeah, because, like, there's no ship stuff on the ground. Like, what's he doing there?
He's not just a ship engineer, he's just engineer man.
He's also a beer engineer.
Yeah, you can tell that as the series goes on.
He was a World War II vet. He deserves it.
Yeah, that's the fun fact everyone knows, that he's missing a finger, and they cover it up all the time.
This cat just got up here. Hey, why don't you go away and leave me alone? Thank you.
Did it do it? Did it follow your instructions?
He walked around. He's sitting behind the monitor right now.
That's fine. That's fine. So they have these belts on, right?
Yeah, they're like laser tag belts.
Yeah, they are laser tag belts. And Kirk's like, yo, what happened to Spock's brain? And they're like, what? And he's like, his brain. His what?
Yeah. They don't know what a brain is.
Spock's brain. His what?
Do what now?
Do what now?
He's just gonna keep saying do what now.
And they don't know what the fuck he's talking about, and they just keep using the, like, torture device on them. And apparently, I didn't get this from the scene, but the torture device is connected to the belts they're wearing, which tortures them. However, several times throughout this episode, she has pressed the same button and gotten the same response out of them, and none of them were wearing belts.
Look, Jeff.
Look, this is what we call a plot hole.
Yeah, I think they probably just used, like, the same shot of her pushing the button.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
most definitely.
Which, like, you know, okay, fine, whatever. But, like, yeah, why is there belts? Like, why do they have belts on? Like, I didn't get that when I watched it. I was like, I don't understand what these belts are.
Yeah,
like,
they say, like, oh, we gotta get the belts off, and they do, and she can't hurt them anymore.
Yeah, but, like, earlier they get knocked out by the thing.
Everyone
like,
on the ship got knocked out by it.
I don't understand, like, what the difference is, but alright. Yeah, it's really... This episode is really bad.
In the business, that's called, stupid fucking writing.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. At this point in the episode, I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, I was like, when is this gonna stop?
And, like... This is my favorite scene in this episode, and you know what I mean when I say favorite.
Yes.
They're talking about controls, and shit. Like, who is in control? Like,
who's the leader?
Who has a penis that's telling you what to do because you're a woman?
I got that too when I watched it. I was like, he's like literally 1 second away from being like, where's the man in charge?
Yeah, he says, where is he?
Where is he? Yes.
But like, they're like, oh, the controller? And nothing in this episode has given the slightest fucking hint towards this conclusion that Kirk leaps the fucking New River Gorge to reach from where he was at.
Evil fucking Knievel.
He says, controller? Maybe Spock's brain is controlling this place. And they're all like, yeah, you're right. And they're right.
They're right. Well, he picked the planet, so he also knew about that.
What?
Dude, I know, man. I was like, I at this point, I'm honestly paying like half attention to this, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't even know.
Like, I'm just fucking standing in my living room, like, talking at the TV at this point, going, what the fuck? How did you know?
He's fucking Kirk. He just knew. It's his friend.
Christ.
Yeah, like, Spock, when he's talking to him over the communicator, like, earlier, isn't even like, I think I'm in, like...
No, he just says, I don't know where I am.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what's happening. And it's like, okay.
And, like, he continually says, I don't know where I am. Keep that in mind, because we're going to circle back to this in a second.
Yeah.
All the ladies leave, and our heroes are left alone. By the way, they talk about there being men above and women below, but there are men here so that there can be a fight scene.
Right, they can't fight
because women can't fight men.
Right, sure. Okay.
And there's this big stupid fight scene where they fight Neanderthals.
Yeah. Did they go up and get them, or what?
I don't know.
Did they trap them with that elevator that was like a trap elevator?
Yeah, probably.
Is that why? Okay.
Probably.
That kind of makes sense, I guess.
But Kirk talks to Spock using the communicator again, and they're like, Spock, your brain's been taken out. You're the controller now.
And he's like, oh.
And Spock's like, fascinating. I have a body that stretches to infinity. And I'm doing all this other shit. And they're like, well, actually, your fucking brain, dum-dum. Don't you know anything? And they're like, actually, we're going to find your brain and put it back in your body. And he's like, well, all right, that sounds good. And they're like, all right, Spock, send us a signal to show where you're at. And Spock's like, all right. Spock doesn't know where he's at.
Yeah, no, he doesn't know where he is. Like, yeah, and like, what does that even mean? Send us a signal. Like, what is that? I don't know what that means. Like, send us a radio? Like, I don't understand, like, how...
Spock continuously says he doesn't know where he's at. That scene should have been like, hey, Spock, send us a signal so we know where you're at. And he's like, I have told you 30 times, Jim, I don't know where I'm at.
Yeah.
You never listen to me. You're always like this.
Me. Yeah. Yeah, you never listen to me.
And then they get into a big lovers spats.
Yeah. And it's uncomfortable, and Scotty's like, well, guess it's time to go.
They always do this. They always do this.
Oh god, the cat turned on my thing.
Oh,
sorry.
How did the cat do that?
He stepped on the keyboard and it was paused. My music was paused.
Oh my god.
He's being a real butthole right now. I'm gonna take his brain out.
Well, as long as you put it back in 24 hours, you'll be fine.
Dude, it feels like this episode takes 24 hours to get to the end.
It really does. But, dude, like, they find the place, right?
Yeah.
And like, Spock is like, hey, I'm this terrible prop in the middle of the room, look at me. And lady shows up, evil lady, who isn't given a name, because she's a lady, it's not important enough.
Right.
And she presses the button again, only this time they don't pass out immediately. They writhe around for what feels like the rest of my fucking life.
Dude, they are just hamming it up hard. Yeah. Writhing and writhing and writhing.
And Kirk uses his fucking NES controller to control Spock and have him attack a woman.
It's more like a ColecoVision.
It's his fucking ColecoVision controller. he Colecos him over to fucking attack a woman.
Yeah, like, I don't... What? Yeah, oh, because Bones makes it, right? Because, like, okay, right.
So they can take his body down because they don't have gurneys in the future.
They do this better in DS9 when
Oh yeah, they control
Quark
the corpse.
episode. Yeah, they do it a little bit better. In
They
that.
Weekend at Bernie's that shit.
Yeah, they Weekend at Bernie's the fuck out of that Vorta.
This is technically Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, this is Weekend at Fox.
And they fucking, like, his body attacks the lady, which is fine because equality.
Well, he doesn't, like, hit her. He kind of just, like, grabs her arm.
Yeah.
Which is still not, like, great, but he doesn't,
And then
like,
he presses the
punch her.
button. He presses the release button, which somehow Spock's dead-ass corpse that Kirk is controlling with a series of buttons presses the exact correct button that no one is looking at.
And they're all, like, different colored buttons, and there's, like, maybe 12 of them. So there's, like, 12 buttons that do the full range of human mobility in 12 buttons.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And he fucking presses the press correct button on his controller. And Spock hits the button and all their belts fall off, which apparently makes it completely worthless as a weapon now. You can't harm anybody anymore.
It doesn't hurt anymore. Yeah.
Even though it did before.
Right. Yeah, man. I got nothing on this episode. This episode is like if you've ever read like a little kid's story, that's what this is. Where they're just like, and then, and you're like, okay, where's the end?
They do this really fucking stupid thing where they force the lady to use the Get Smart machine.
Yeah.
Which turns her into a super smart lady, and she fucking pulls a phaser on him.
Yeah.
Which is like filler. They were like, actually, we have like 3 minutes extra in this
Yeah, they're
episode.
killing time. They're killing time.
So she pulls the phaser out, and they're all like, oh my god, she's got a phaser. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And then Scotty pretends to faint very slightly, and she looks at him, and Kirk just grabs the gun, and he's like, alright, put the fucking thing on your head.
Oh my god.
So McCoy, like, Bones is like, well, I'm the surgeon, let me do it. And Spock's like, gives a whole speech about how he can't. And then Bones gives a whole speech about it, why he should. And then Kirk's like, go ahead.
Yeah, because he's like, I can take it back, I can remember how to do it. Or whatever. Like, he wants, like, the glory, right?
Yeah. And he's like, he's like, a child could do it.
Right, a child could do it. But this is the part in, like, a regular Star Trek episode where it would just cut and he would be fixed.
Yeah, but
and then
no,
they'd
we
be like,
get a terrible scene.
A stupid, dumb-ass scene.
The worst scene in the episode, I'll go on a limb and say.
And it's the end of the episode.
Where it works up to it. Where Bones is doing brain surgery and slowly starts to lose the knowledge.
Yeah, like, why is this important to the show? Like, I don't understand how this matters to the show.
And with a miracle of modern science, as we all know how the brain works now, of course.
Sure.
So Spock tells Bones to reconnect his speech centers. He tells him, right? Even though it's not done yet, apparently. To reconnect his speech centers in his brain so he can talk him through the surgery that's happening on his brain.
Right.
I'd like to remind everyone at home, Spock is a computer scientist and not a fucking surgeon. Bones is a surgeon.
Yeah, like, why? Dude, I don't know, man. I don't even fucking know. They're just like Spock has to do it. And like, Bones has like a flip out. He's like, I don't remember how to do it.
And
tell me how to do it.
They make a fucking, like, end of the episode joke, like in a fucking sitcom.
Yeah, they're like, oh, did we have to put his vocal cords back together, his speech center?
Kirk's like, we took the risk, Doctor, and then it freeze frames and goes, ba na 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 na.
And then John Larroquette, it says, featuring John Larroquette. How interesting.
Oh, this episode's fucking terrible.
Yeah, this episode is really bad.
And the craziest part about this episode is that the next one we're gonna watch fucking tops it.
Like, is worse?
Yeah.
Oh, the next episode we're gonna watch.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, but for, like, different reasons.
Different reasons, yes.
Like, I mean, this one's pretty bad, though, in that regard. With, like, the sexism, it's pretty rough.
God, this episode is terrible.
Yeah,
It harms
it's written
me
by
on so many levels.
It was written by a drunk person. This person, Lee, what's his name? What's Gene L. whatever?
Lee Cronin?
Yeah, whatever. He had to write the episode in a day, and he did it.
Cronenberg? Lee Cronin.
Gene, no last name.
Gene L.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's fun in the sense that like, it's goofy, right?
No. It's not. Like, the first half of the episode, I could say, yeah, it's fun because it's goofy.
Yeah, it goes off the rails like
but then it
crazy.
Gets so terrible.
Like, you know me, man. Like, I do not like when things don't make sense. Like, I have a super problem with that shit.
Josh goes nuts when that happens, if you haven't figured that out yet.
Literally, like, that's your only job, is to, like, make it make sense. Like, and this was written by a child. Like, a child wrote this. Like, I don't know. I think what Gene L. last name redacted let his, like, 12-year-old daughter write this episode. I don't know.
It's like he's such a big part of what made Star Trek what it was, to the point where every actor that was on it gives him just as much credit as Gene Roddenberry.
Right.
And yet he wrote this.
Yep. We all have our bad days, Jeff.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I just figured it would get stopped at some point, right? This was produced and aired.
This episode goes on for, like... It feels like this episode's 2 hours long.
There's a whole lot of, like, really slow walking in this episode.
Yeah. They needed the time. They needed the filler. It's all filler, no killer, man. That's for sure.
It's true.
Like
you think about production schedules back in those days, right? You made, like, fucking, what, like 30 episodes?
Yeah, probably, like, 32-ish.
32 episodes, you just did them fucking rapid fire, day after day after day. There's gonna be a bunch of filler episodes in that shit.
Yeah, well, that's why they don't do that anymore. That's why, I mean, look, I think we've talked about, like, the Marvel Netflix shows, and how, like, I know, like, Paul and I have talked about, like, they're, like, even 3 episodes too much.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And they're, like, 13 episodes. Like, they should be, like, 10 or 8.
It's crazy to me that the way screenwriters seem to work, the way people who work on television and film and stuff, and I know you're a screenwriter as well. Not lumping them all together, but
no, you can.
in like a large number, screenwriters seem to be like, all right, whatever space they're given to fill, they don't need, and they waste part of it every single time.
Right.
So if you're like, all right, you get 2 episodes to tell something, half of one of those episodes is going to be nonsense that's not necessary.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, like, I mean, obviously with this show, like, they were just like, get them out, like, crank them out.
Absolutely.
Because it was
cheap as
different
possible, as fast
as
possible.
Yeah, it was different back then. But now, everyone wants to, like, have, like, this angle, and, like, I kind of blame J.J. Abrams for this with, like, Lost and shit. Like, there was, like, an angle, and there was all this mystery, and it was kind of, like, Stephen King inspired, and it was kind of like, you know, like, science fiction-y.
Yeah.
And, like, now everyone thinks that that's how you write, like, science fiction, and it's like, no, you can, like, write it, like, however you want, but yeah, it has to make sense. Like, at some point, you have to stop, like, with the smoke in the mirrors and actually have substance there. Like
smoke, I get it.
It's the smoke monsters and mirrors.
That old saying.
And when the internet like figures out what your ploy is, don't lie to them and say it's not that.
It's like, you know how cats fill whatever fucking shape that you put them inside of?
Yeah, like they're like Odo.
Yeah, like liquid. It's the way a regular, like a writer who hits all the beats at all times, which is impossible, nobody's perfect, would work, is whatever size shape you give them, they'll fill it. You give them 13 episodes, 13 episodes worth of content.
Right.
But the way, like, writing tends to be is you give somebody 13 episodes and they fill it, but there's just this space missing that's nothing.
Right. I will give a lot of credit to, like, Doctor Who for this type of writing, where it seems like sometimes you're watching, like, a throwaway episode. and then the writers, like, especially with like David Tennant in that era, and
yes, I've seen all of those.
Yeah, like they would do a really good job of like kind of bringing it back, as much as like it would be like a crazy like left-hand turn sometimes. It was fun, like, and in that universe, like, things are crazy, so like you can get away with a lot more shit. But like,
I've not seen anything past David Tennant.
The Matt, what's his name?
Matt Smith.
Smith. I wouldn't say Matt West. That's a kid I graduated high school with.
Shout out Matt West.
He might. Somebody that knows him might listen to this. His are pretty good too. But those writers like tend to like use all the available space, and not always for the best, but like for the most part,
it's still used. I mean, you look at something like Daredevil season 2, where it's 13 episodes and like 3 episodes of the story.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, Daredevil season 2 is like, oh my fucking god. There's like parts when they go to the house, like the rich house of Elektra or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, what is this shit? Dude, there's
no story. Like, the story that was interesting was the Punisher story, and then it just ends.
Yeah.
And he's still got, like, fucking 10 episodes left.
Dude, oh my god. Those are egregious.
Yeah, to circle back to Doctor Who, which is the real topic of our podcast, I watched Christopher Eccleston, and then...
The first one, yeah.
The 9th one.
Yeah, but the first of the new
one, the
right?
reboot one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then David Tennant. I liked Christopher Eccleston a lot, and I liked David Tennant a lot, and I started trying to watch Matt Smith, and I couldn't fucking stand him.
Yeah, he's obnoxious.
Apparently people love him, but like...
Well, that was when everyone like got on board. Like, people really liked David Tennant, but then Matt Smith came, and they were like, oh, I'm a Doctor Who fan. And it's
Whovian.
Like... I'm a Whovian, yeah. And it's like,
don't give yourself a title. That's silly.
Yeah, no.
Don't give yourself a title anyway. Trek Boys!
Buy the shirt.
We should make a Trek Boys t-shirt.
Yeah, we should.
It's coming soon.
It should be in cross colors. I'm big into cross colors now.
It's time for a resurgence. I was thinking about making another shirt, since people didn't know that we had, at least somebody didn't know that we had a shirt.
That's the shirt.
Which still exists. You can still get the shirt.
Oh yeah, buy like 16 of them.
Yeah, give them to all your friends.
Give them to all your friends who like Matt Smith.
Give them to your clergy.
Put them in the donations jar at your church.
When your pastor's like, "What the fuck is this?" Be like,
"It's got latinum on it. It's got gold pressed latinum on it. It's the most fucking valuable thing in the galaxy.
It's way more valuable than money. Money ain't worth shit anymore."
Yeah, you can't replicate platinum, dude.
It's true.
For some reason.
He's right, everybody. This episode frustrated me.
It was painful. Like I mean, I laughed at it a lot because I was like, all right, this is ridiculous. But
yeah, I laughed at it a lot too. I'm
not like close to the TOS like you are. Like TOS isn't like something that I like grew up with so much. So like I kind of laugh at it, but like I also understand that like I know how good this show can be, and seeing like an episode like this is like, oh my god, like what are we doing?
Maddening to me, because it's like watching a terrible B movie instead of a great B movie.
Right. It's not even like a good B movie if there is such a thing.
It's not funny bad either. Yeah. It's just boring and bad.
Yeah.
There are funny bad parts in it though.
Yeah. I just don't understand like why anything happens, and that's like a really bad sign when you're watching. You're like, why is this happening?
If anybody's listening to this who can make animated GIFs really good, I want an animated GIF of the camera doing the zoom in on Spock's face really fast, and then out and then in, just
infinite loop, dude. I love that.
With his fucking completely blank face.
Jesus. Which is like, I thought about that too. I was like, look, Spock's already like an emotionless entity. So like, when they told like Leonard McCoy to like act
Leonard
that way, like,
McCoy.
Leonard McCoy. Leonard Nimoy. When they told Leonard sorry. To act like that, he was probably just like, okay. Like,
How's this
I already do
any
that.
other day, Gene?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a waste of like actor potential too, right? Like
It's true. There's
like,
a reason why Spock goes through so many bouts of like space-induced emotions.
yeah.
It's called Leonard Nimoy is a really great actor.
Don't you mean Leonard McCoy?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not actually a Star Trek fan. I don't really know his name. Leonard McCoy. Leonard Bones McCoy is that actor's name.
Super mistake.
Edit that out in post. I don't want anybody.
I'm leaving it all in.
You leave everything in, Josh.
Yeah, this is a natural, free-flowing event we got here. We're just honest.
Do we have anything else to say about this episode, or is this going to be a short one?
Let's make this a short one, because this episode stinks of fart, dude.
It was the stinky McFart. I think this is just going to be an hour long, which is good, because that's how long the actual episode is.
It feels like it's 3 hours long, but...
There's a problem with that sometimes in Star Trek, where the bad episodes just drag on forever.
And there wasn't anything even, like, goofy in it. Like there was no moral, there was no like Twilight Zone-y like question. It's just
a random adventure that they went on where it's like a fucking The Hangover but Star Trek. We lost Spock's brain. We gotta find it for the wedding.
Oh no, Kim, what's his name? The guy, the doctor from he's a real life doctor, but the teacher from Community took the brain. Ken Jeong, that's his name.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The guy who's like, see you later. That guy.
Yeah, that guy. He's an actual fucking PhD.
He's a real doctor.
He's a smart guy, but he's also hilarious. So.
I think his name is Leonard McCoy.
Leonard McCoy is his name. God. You know what? I think we've learned a valuable lesson here today.
Yeah. Let's never watch this again.
This is a bad episode and don't watch it, but the deep moral lesson that we learned today was that Klingons actually do have two dicks.
Oh my god.
That was proven on Star Trek Discovery. Someone reported this to me because I don't have CBS All Access. Fuck that.
I've seen up to... I don't have it either because I'm not paying for that. But I've seen up to... episode 9.
I've only seen episode 4.
So I got the first reference, which is like subtle-ish.
Yeah, this
as
is
subtle
not
as
subtle.
anything.
A Klingon is in an alleyway, and he blasts piss against the wall out of two dicks, and you get to see the two streams going, because they're not redundant dicks. They're both active dicks.
Right, they're both... Because Klingons have redundant hearts and stuff.
Yeah, so it's not a redundant dick, it's an active dick.
There's just two dicks. Which,
they just got a hemipene.
Yeah, I don't know why we needed this. Like, I'm not one to be, like, shy about this type of shit. I mean, I make dick jokes all the time.
Star Trek has, like, a legacy, right? No matter how silly Star Trek has gotten, no one has pissed in an alleyway in it before.
Well, they say fuck, too.
Yeah, and they say fuck, they piss in an alleyway. The fucking whole reveal of Captain Lorca's shit pissed me off.
Yeah, that's... Dude, oh, man. Yeah... Well, you get to see some Klingon boobs. Like, it's... Here's the thing.
They got 4 tits.
They got 2, as far as I could tell.
They got one redundant tit.
It's just a unitit. It's like a Dillian Harper tit. It's just one boob.
Why do I know who that is? Fuck.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Everyone who knows who Dillian Harper knows what I'm talking about.
They have 2 tits. 2 fully formed tits. One of them is redundant. It doesn't do anything. The other one is active.
That's where the milk comes out, because I guess they're mammals, I guess. Sure.
They got 2 dicks. Whatever.
Yeah, the 2 dicks thing, man, I feel like at some point we're just trying to be edgy for the sake of edginess, and I feel like that we've reached that point.
There's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I was more frustrated with the Captain Lorca thing. I'm not going to spoil anybody or anything, but what a fucking waste of character development.
Yeah, you could tell where it's going, or like you can.
I mean, if you looked at it the dumbest way possible, you could tell where it was going.
Yeah, well, this is the way things work now. Dummies like run the world now. So
I know.
What if we make him this? And it's like, what if we do anything but that?
What if we make him have like a horrible experience that makes him into what he is, and he has to like learn the folly of his ways?
Nah, we'll
find
just make
repentance or anything. Nah, we'll just do that other thing.
Nah, the fans love that other thing, so we'll do that.
Fucking A. Anyway,
dude, I didn't mind the fuck so much because like Tilly says it, and she's kind of like it's like autism a little bit. So like,
I mean, like they say hell and damn and whatnot. I mean,
yeah, like whatever. That's fine. I don't care about that.
It's just
but
Star Trek has a legacy that I feel like this new show is just like pissing on with its
two dicks. No, I agree, man. I mean, we could talk about this whole show.
Like I've talked about a million times that DS9 rides that line between examining what the utopian future is and like subverting it a little and still being Star Trek utopian.
Right.
Discovery doesn't do that at all. It's just like a weird dystopian future that has Star Trek clothes on.
Well, what really bothered me was like in one of the first episodes, they're like on this prison transport when they're and like there's these two other random prisoners and they're talking about Andorians and they're being like super fucking racist and shit.
Oh yeah.
And it's like
humans
you guys
have not evolved beyond racism in the Star Trek future anymore.
And it's like, you guys have been in the Federation with each other for like 80 years at this point. Like, what the fuck is your problem?
Are really old allies.
Yeah,
at this
like
point.
You're the same government now. Like, what?
It's like
get over
racist against the Irish.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah,
it's like outdated as fuck at that point.
Yeah, like what do you like? Yeah, dude. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about this shit. Because again, it was like, yeah, but look, everyone's real gritty and they're real angry, and it's like, yeah, well, they're also living a fucking utopia. So like, I don't know what their fucking problem is.
You look at the difference between Harry Mudd and TOS and Harry Mudd in this. Harry Mudd in this is like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, he's like a lunatic.
He's like a fucking gritty-ass monster, and in the original, he's like a happy-go-lucky, swashbuckling rogue.
Yeah.
And it's like that is what
outfits.
Yeah. That is what a criminal from a utopian future would be like. He's not really got that many worries, and he's not got that many problems. Even if he's dealing in illegal shit, he's not gonna be fucking like eating people's faces off and shit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Man, we should talk about this show on like a different thing.
We will. We'll get back to it. I wanted to plug that in the end. Plug those two dicks in the end. Just to get it off my chest a little bit.
Dude, I don't know why we had to have them have two dicks.
I don't know why we had to know. I don't care how many dicks they got. What does that have to do with the plot or the world building?
Who cares,
Do you feel like the world building is more rounded and real now that you know fucking Klingons have two dongers?
Well, I hate the way that these Klingons look. They're like so ridiculous.
It's true. I'm not a big fan of it either.
They look like every alien from the new Star Trek movies. They all look the same. That's not me being racist. They all look the same.
They showed the Andorians and they just look like Andorians. There's no difference. They still have the same Enterprise makeup, pretty much.
Oh, they showed them in I didn't see
in
that.
the mirror universe, and they showed Tellarites in the mirror universe
Yeah.
too, and they look pretty much the same except they're like bald. They have their heads shaved a little bit.
Why couldn't they just make the Klingons look like fucking Klingons?
I don't know.
They had to make them scarier,
spookier. They're too spooky.
They're too scary now. I don't know.
So that was Spock's brain. You know what? If you like our podcast and you'd like to hear more from us, we haven't used our Twitter too much lately, but I'm hoping to start using it a little bit more. Get into the habit of it.
We've been a little busy lately.
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at mclasspodcast. Or you can shoot us an email at mclassemail@gmail.com. Mclass emails.
Yeah. No. Wait, what?
It's mclassemail@gmail.com. Jesus Christ.
It's not
I'm
plural.
gonna see if I can get something that's just M-Class Podcast with something else on it. Just change it.
Yeah,
This is too fucking difficult.
it's become a pretty funny joke,
I
though.
guess. Yes, it's mclassemail@gmail.com.
Send an email to both of those and we'll get one of them.
Maybe I'll get both of them. Maybe I'll just get the other one, so it's right either way.
Now we're thinking.
Fuck, now we're thinking with portals.
Yeah, we're portaling.
Thanks for listening to our podcast, though. I know it can get a little rambly, but it's fun.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that we're here, Jeff.
Me too. What would the world be like without us? It'd be a horrible two-dicked mirror universe that no one wants to live in.
Should have been born a Klingon, man, you know?
That's what I think every night when I'm looking at my sad one penis.
My singular dick, and I just sigh. What would it be like if I had two dicks? I'd also get to eat human flesh, apparently.
Apparently.
Because that's a thing.
It's not cannibalism, technically, though.
No, it's not.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and plug this as well. If you like the thumbnail images of M-Class Podcast, you like the art that's attached to it, then I make that art, your old pal Jeff, and I'm open for commissions right now.
Damn, do it. He's great. He's super good.
You can commission me to make art of almost anything you could even think of ever. Whatever.
I like on your streams, I like when people do that. It's fun.
I also stream, but I don't know when the fuck I'm going to do that next. But you can find my commission chart at _Jeff Pennington. It is my pinned tweet.
It's not at Jeff Pennington's.
Oh my god. It's at _Jeff Pennington. Because some asshole in Illinois has at Jeff Pennington.
Yo, fuck you, Jeff Pennington from Illinois. Suck my two dicks, Jeff Pennington from Illinois.
Piece of shit.
I'm coming for you, Jeff Pennington in Illinois.
Please, nobody send him any messages.
Yeah, that might not be good.
Thanks for listening to the podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode of M-Class Podcast.